I'm gonna reveal the truth about Grant Cardone's 10X Growth Conference. We are out here in Las Vegas. We brought our whole team to this mansion out here, and we're gonna go inside and hear directly from some of the attendees on our team to see what they received from the event. Before we interview the attendees, let's take a look inside our mansion Airbnb. Boom. We're at our game room, pool table. Now let's go outside. What's up, Josh? All right, what was your number one takeaway from Growth Conference this year?
My biggest takeaway was if you're not dreaming, you're sinning.
What do you mean by that?
It was a takeaway that someone dropped. And for me, it's like if you're not pushing for more, you're not doing more, then like you're not actually living in your values. And we're meant to live in our values. And for me, if you're not living in your values, that's not right. That's not what's meant to be. And so you got to move forward. You got to dream and you got to make sure that you align with what's right.
Absolutely. What are some of your values that you live by?
The biggest one that I've lived by and what I really value is that you want to grow your money. Because when you grow your money, you can do more good in the world. And like money is just a tool. So like if you have a tool in front of you, grab it and get it to work.
Cool. What's one of your dreams of what you want to do with money so you can, when you grow your money?
Oh, well, just give it away. Just do it.
To who?
Unfortunate people, right?
For what specifically?
Yeah. So one thing that I'm passionate about is human trafficking. I think that should never exist. So I give money to that. I think other philanthropy things can happen as well. Like wounded warriors, I'm very passionate about that as well. So our veteran community, a lot of them are unhoused and that shouldn't be the case. So passionate about that as well.
What did you expect coming to GrowthCon?
I expected to learn a lot for sure. I did want to grow. So just learn a lot and have some good speakers.
How do you feel that what you learned in GrowthCon will help you set off for the best year of your life, 2025?
It's all about putting things in action, right? Like you can learn, but if you don't have action, it means nothing. So now I have more things to put into action on a daily basis.
What was your number one takeaway from Growth Conference this year?
My number one takeaway this year was to have bigger targets.
What was your target before you got here?
My target before I got here was to do at least $250,000 for the year, and now I'm going to double, and my goal for this year is $500,000.
What do you have to do differently to get there?
What I'm going to have to do differently is change some of my habits, change my daily routine, and just continue to be more and more persistent every single day.
Cool. What were you expecting to get out of GrowthCon?
I was expecting to get a lot of really amazing information from a lot of the speakers, and I did, but what I really got out of it was being able to meet so many amazing real estate investors and business owners.
Cool. And how does meeting those real estate investors and business owners help you grow your business?
That helps me grow my business because I'm able to provide value and service for these people and just being able to solve their problem, whether if it's cash flow or taxes.
Cool. What have you received the most from Cardone University over the last 12 months?
Always ask if you've seen enough to be able to make a decision.
I love it. What was your number one takeaway for Growth Conference this year?
My number one takeaway from GrowthCon this year was to dream bigger and have bigger goals for myself.
What was your goal when you got here?
My goal when I first got here was to hit 100K, but now it's 500K.
500K? What do you have to do differently to go from 1 to 5?
I got to put more hours in, be more consistent with everyday activities, and be more persistent.
Cool. What were you expecting at a Growth Conference?
I was expecting to meet a lot of great people, hear a lot of good speakers, and ultimately just grow my mindset.
Cool. What was the best thing that you've done in Vegas since you got here?
The best thing that I've done in Vegas since I got here was put myself out there, meet more people, and receive what the speakers are telling me.
All right. What were you expecting at a Growth Conference this year?
I was expecting some inspiration to be able to like receive from people that are successful and to take what they have learned and to implement it into my life.
Cool. And what did you actually receive at the end of the day?
That is exactly what I received. I heard a lot of business owners talk about their experiences through their careers and what they built, and they give me inspiration on the mindset that they try to communicate with me. And so that's what I really appreciate is my
What's the number one thing that you're going to now go back and implement that you learned from Growth Conference?
I'm going to try to take more responsibility for making this my business.
Try to or am committed to?
That is great. Thank you for correcting my language. I am committed to implementing more responsibility into my business and becoming a more professional in what I do.
Cool. Why do we do that with each other? Why do we correct each other on our consciousness?
Because we've been coached under the same coach, Jeffrey Combs, and he teaches us about our language and our mindset. And if we use broke language, we will become broke. But if we use language of commitment, then we'll become more committed to ourselves and what we say. Our word is our law, and it cannot return void.
I love it. Well, who was your favorite speaker this year at GrowthCon?
My favorite speaker was it was actually Grant Cardone's wife. It was crazy because she dropped some really some truths that woke me up.
Like what?
Like burn everything, like take everything average and light a match under it, and let it burn away, and then do everything exceptional and become professional.
What are a couple things in your life that reminds you of?
It reminds me of like, hey, I don't really need to have relaxation. Like as of right now, I need to just focus on working, and then maybe I'll relax later. Just when I'm dead.
I love it. What were you expecting out of GrowthCon this year?
I was expecting that I was going to be with like-minded individuals that have one goal in common, which is to be millionaires and then billionaires, and it did not disappoint me. So it was a buzz of people where you knew that you were among like-minded people that wanted to, wherever they were in life, they weren't satisfied with, they wanted 10x, and there was an energy and buzz that just was palpable.
What was your favorite part of GrowthCon this year?
I would say the list of speakers. I was impressed with the depth of the people and the stories that they told about exactly how they got from rags to riches, and very inspiring.
Who was your favorite?
I say Robert Herjavec from Shark Tank, because he talked about his parents literally took a boat from Yugoslavia, landed in Canada, and here he is, a gazillionaire. So to me, that was most motivating.
I love it. What's the number one thing you're going to go back and implement in your business this year?
All I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that, like, when I say that I'm going to 10x, it means that we always underestimate how much work it takes to be in the elite stratosphere. So I'm committed to doubling, tripling, quadrupling, 10xing, 20xing all my activities, which is going to get me to where I want to be.
Awesome. What did you expect to get at a GrowthCon this year?
I expect to grow my mindset and also to connect with a lot of high-level individuals.
And what's the number one thing that you're going to receive that you can go implement in your life after today?
So after today, I'm committed to become a better person one day at a time. And also, I'm committed to start getting 1 hour per week at least, be in silence and just throw different kind of ideas with my mindset.
Why is that important to you?
That is important for me because I know that I have different ideas, and most of the time we get distracted with social media. And I know if I just get one time at least per week on which I can develop and throw out those ideas, I can set up something that is going to be amazing.
Cool. Who was your favorite speaker this year?
So far, Robert from the Shark Tank, he got a lot of insights that I'm going to start implementing as well.
All right. Truth or dare?
Truth.
How many calories do you eat in a day?
More than I'm supposed to. I'd say around 2,500.
That's it?
I think it's a little bit more than that, to be honest.
What were you expecting to get at a growth conference?
I was expecting to learn from the speakers that were on stage, which were people who are worth billions of dollars, and they gave really good knowledge, and it's stuff that I see myself utilizing from here on out.
What's the number one thing that you're going to take away and go implement when you get back?
Acting and speaking more like a professional and understanding that money literature will take you very far in life.
Who is your favorite speaker?
I would say Charlie Kirk was my favorite speaker.
Why?
Because just the way that he carried himself and understanding his role in, his company that he's doing right now. His first mission wasn't to raise a lot of money, but it's sooner or later it turned into that. And he's just a really good example of success when you put the time in.
Shout out to Charlie Kirk. What do you expect to get out of Growth Conference this year?
I expected to go to GrowthCon with my team and experience, business owners and like-minded individuals speak about their successes and their failures in business and kind of teach us how to grow.
What was your favorite part of the week?
My favorite part of the week was really just kind of exploring Vegas with my team. It was a lot of fun. And my favorite speaker at the event was definitely Charlie Kirk. He got me a little bit emotional talking about, the stuff he spoke about, which is great. He said, "How dare you do nothing with what God gave you?" And I got super emotional about that. I thought he was great.
Awesome. What's the number one thing that you're going to now take and go implement in your life?
I am gonna not quit. That's what I'm gonna do.
What does that mean to you?
So that means when times get tough and when things get hard in your life, there's absolutely no excuse to quit and give up on your dreams and your goals.
Have you wanted to quit before?
I've wanted to quit before many times, and this time I won't.
Why not?
Because I know there's money to be made. I know there's good times ahead. As long as you roll with the punches, you can be successful.
What's the number one thing that you see yourself growing into this year in 2025?
I see myself growing in the world of networking, the world of connecting with new people, the world of business and positive mindset.
What was your number one takeaway from GrowthCon this year?
My number one takeaway was to surround yourself with big believers only.
What did you expect out of Growth Conference?
I expected to see a lot more motivational speakers, maybe, but it was still good. Good content.
Instead of motivational speakers, it seems like there were a lot more high quality billionaire business owners.
Yeah.
What did you receive from that?
I received how no matter what, we all have to pay the price and go through the struggles, go through failures in order to find our success and our journey to become a great person.
Who was your favorite speaker?
Ryan Reynolds.
Why?
Because it's Ryan Reynolds.
What does that mean?
No. He was good because he was
Why?
funny.
Tell me.
He was funny.
What's the truth?
The character.
Tell me the truth.
And he was in Wolverine and Deadpool. And yeah, he's just funny. You knew I was going to say that. I even told you. What else? Next question.
What was your favorite part of Vegas this week?
Favorite part of Vegas this week? Oh, going to the Sphere and seeing great food.
What was your experience like at the Sphere?
It was like I almost died because you can easily fall, but the visuals in the Sphere was great. And thank you for taking me.
You're welcome. Who was your favorite speaker at GrowthCon this year?
I'm gonna go with Charlie Kirk.
Why?
Just because he likes to rattle the cage all the time, and he pretty much just says what he wants. And if you try to debate him, he's gonna destroy you.
Absolutely. Why'd you decide to come to Growth Conference this year?
Well, a couple of reasons. One was to see my boy Waxman, love him, and his new wife, Mrs. Waxman, and just to be around people that are where I want to be, people that are growing, meeting some new people, new connections, and yeah.
Cool. What do you expect out of Growth Conference before you got here?
I'd say I expected to build some new connections, meet some great people, and learn from people that are where I want to be.
Well, what's the number one thing you're going to take and go implement in your business when you go back?
I am going to implement right away SOP, standard operating procedures, and how I can slowly move myself away from being the person that does every single thing.
I'm with you 100%. Who was your favorite speaker at GrowthCon this year?
Speakers were phenomenal, but my favorite was Ivan Coffin, specifically because he's a multifamily investor, me being in real estate. And so I really resonated with what he was saying.
He was actually my favorite too. What was the one thing that you would take away from what he said about what you do in multifamily?
Raise capital all the time.
What does that mean?
That means making connections, leveraging capital to be able to purchase more properties and scale business.
For a new real estate investor, how can somebody get into that if you're talking about billions of dollars? I mean, how can somebody just get off the ground?
I think the first thing is you got to make connections. You got to understand how to underwrite properties to understand if it's even a deal you can get into.
Cool. And what do you expect from GrowthCon before you got here?
I'm very open-minded. I love building connections. I believe relationships is one of the number one things in business. So I was expected to make connections and grow, see what the speakers had to offer. I was still open because I didn't know who was going to be speaking. So I was keeping an open mind.
Why'd you decide to make the trip out from Cali?
Well, love connecting with you. You're a phenomenal person. I love nurturing our relationship. It had an amazing opportunity with this Airbnb and, connecting with everybody here.
Cool. What's the number one thing that you're going to take and go implement in your business when you go back?
The number one thing I'm going to implement, they specifically talked about the 3 lids in your business. One is going to be your belief lid, right? We all heard about John Maxwell and the lid, the law of the lid. The other was operational lid and leadership lid. Never heard it spoken exactly like that. So that's something I'm going to focus and implement day one.
You've heard it here directly from attendees at Growth Conference. Amazing value everybody received. Invest in yourself, invest in your business, reinvest in yourself, reinvest in your business. Grant always puts on an absolute show, one of the best events ever. And next year, he's going to be putting on Wealth Conference. This is the last ever Growth Con. So make sure you go out to the Wealth Conference, the Business Summit, and all the other events and workshops that he puts on. You're going to expand your mind. You're going to think bigger. You're going to think better. And you're going to 10x your business and 10x yourself so that you can continue growing into the stratosphere that you didn't even know was possible. Be sure to like, subscribe, and put on notifications so that we can add value to you every single day as we keep pumping out more content.